Just switching up a bit, we obviously know you're a big UFC fan, big MMA fan. From a British point of view, we have a massive fight coming up with Leon Edwards, August 20th against Kamaru Usman. How do you see that going down?
Man, I don't want to take away from either one of those guys because I'm a big Leon fan, and I've been a big Leon fan for a while. They've held him back. It's like when they've been talking about the championship, all these other guys are like, I want to fight him, I want to fight him. And Leon's been like calling everyone out, and everybody's been saying, everybody but him, everybody but him. The kid, he's super talented. But on the same token, Kamaru Usman, man, some of the stuff that he's almost like a machine right now. He's a machine. His striking wasn't his like forte before, but since moving over with Trevor Whitman, his striking is on point. I mean, his jab is unbelievable. But then you have Leon is kind of like the same fighter. I'm not picking either one of those guys. I just want to watch the fight. I think it's going to be incredible. Either one of those guys that win, they're going to deserve it. The only problem with Usman is right now is that he's getting a little Hollywood. You see him at the UFCs now, he's like really flashy, and he's thinking about that, which, I mean, if you're making the money, spend it and have fun with it. But I hope that doesn't take away from what brought him to the table. And what brought him to the table is the hard work that he put in. Because I've seen him. I've seen him work out before. I've seen him train. I've trained alongside of him when he was doing his strength and conditioning, and he goes. So if he can keep that same mentality and Leon keeps that same hunger, it's going to be one of the greatest fights of the year.
We was just at 277 in Vegas, and Izzy, for the whole week, every time we spoke to him, he kind of alluded to WWE and wanted to give this a go in the future.
Yeah.
Who do you want to see from the UFC come over next?
It's hard, man, because those guys think that they can just come over and their name can carry the weight. I mean, as far as just notoriety, of course you're going to say Conor, but Conor can't get in a ring with anybody. I mean, Conor being a small guy, I mean, at his highest, he's probably like, what, 190? I mean, 190, that's not even going to be able to, he can't even carry this title around with him. But he does carry a huge amount of attention. So somebody like him is always somebody that we can bring in and do something with. But as far as the guys in there, it'd have to be one of the bigger guys. But the bigger guys don't have that name value. I think the biggest one that can come over is John Jones. But then again, if he comes over, he has to learn wrestling. And that's like a whole different mind frame, a whole different ball game, a whole different everything from what he's been doing. Maybe Cormier. I like Cormier because Cormier is good on the mic. And he loves wrestling, so he gets it. I'd love to see him come over. Francis would be cool, but then again, he'd have to learn wrestling. And he'd have to take a couple of ass whoopings, because if he steps in the ring with me, that's an ass whooping, and he's not used to getting beat up. So there's a lot of different things. I don't know. I think the door is open for anybody that wants to come over, but of course, if you come over, don't just say, I'm a UFC fighter and I deserve to be here. If you take it and you say, okay, I want to come over here and I want to actually learn wrestling, then we open the doors for you.
Just finally, before we wrap up, you obviously mentioned a lot of heavyweights there. One of our heavyweights, Tom Aspinall, fought on Saturday. Did you catch that fight?
Yeah, I didn't want. Am I allowed to bet? Yeah, I'm allowed to bet. Okay, so I like to bet on different fights, and that was the one that I wanted to stay away from because I really didn't know who was going to win that fight. I know Tom he's been going hard. I actually was going to fight him a long time ago. I know his name was kind of brought up, and I was looking at him, so I knew his history, and I kind of followed him afterwards. And he's a guy that really has a lot behind him. Sorry that he got injured, but I don't know what that does with his career. You know, injuries always suck. I don't know how long he's going to stay away, but if he can get back in there and keep his momentum going, I think he could do something. I think he can be up there. He has to be tested. That fight was going to be a huge test for him. If he would have won that one, then I would have said, okay, this guy's tough. But he has to be tested a little bit more.
One guy did come through a test, Paddy Pimblett, who's ripping up trees right now. What do you make of Paddy?
I can't say that I lost money on him because all the UK fans will hate me.
What do you think of his gimmick?
He was another guy that was needed to be tested, and that little guy that he was fighting he's the goofiest guy that he could possibly fight, but he's extremely tough. A Monkey King, is that what they call it? Monkey, whatever. I didn't know who was going to win that fight. I thought that was going to be a hard test for Paddy. But since Paddy won it, I mean, still keep him back. Let that guy continue to be a star before you really throw him into deep waters. I think.
Are you enjoying his character?
I like him.
Yeah.
I like him. I like him because he's great for everything. He's great for the kids. He's fun. He has a really charismatic personality, and he's a good fighter. He can back it up. But let him take his time a little bit. Let us enjoy him a while before they throw him against somebody that's not going to be about any of that joking, any of that laughing and anything like that. Just want to stomp him out. I don't know who's going to be able to do that, but I think there's a lot of guys that he can fight before he goes into those deep waters.